Nichola. I just want to ask you how tough the last week has been on and off the pitch.
I think as an athlete and as a player, this is not like the start we wanted to the Six Nations. Like, you don't go out to lose your first 3 matches. And to be honest, like, off pitch, it's not been easy reading. We're all going out to do our best that we can every week, and to be constantly reading things on social media, getting hammered and reading comments that we're disappointing our country, like that's hard to take as an athlete. And it's not, I don't think you can question the heart and the fight that this group have. And at the moment things aren't going our way, but like, it's building, like, and we have to like put it into perspective. This is an extremely young group, and we're starting out in the start of our journey, and we're just asking for people to give us time. And I think you can't question the heart that the girls have shown the last 3 weeks, and it will continue for these next 2 matches, I have no doubt.
How important has that heart and I suppose that team spirit been to kind of keep everyone going? You obviously still have 2 games left, and for you as captain, and you've kind of felt the need to put your arm around some of the less experienced players.
Yeah, it's about checking in on it. Like, when you're in a tournament like this, it's very intense, and like, you have to be checking in constantly on each other. And I think that it's the last few weeks have been hard, but like, we've spoken about it as a group this week, that no matter what happens, we're going to stick together, and we're not going to let outside noise pull us down, and we're going to keep fighting until the end of this tournament, and that's our focus.
Dorothy, has this week in particular been tough to dust yourselves down and come back?
Yeah, we're human, like, as Nichola said, there is that outside noise, and obviously the results haven't gone our way, and I think anyone would be very naive to think that we don't take ownership over that, because we are the ones on the pitch too. So we have to look that in the face the day after, review it, like, look after ourselves, look after each other, and then get on with the next job, because that's the nature of the beast. So it's tough, like, but in terms of the camaraderie is the most important part here, that we get around each other and we rally again for this weekend, and that's just how this works. That's how an Irish rugby team works, so we're doing that.
Lastly then, for me, just looking ahead to the weekend, what would constitute success for you on Saturday against England, bearing in mind where you guys are and where they are?
Probably, we always focus on ourselves, so it's what we do best, it's what we can improve on, it's a next job mentality. So if we can see an improvement, because there has been an improvement, we can recognise that in ourselves over the last 3 games in certain aspects of the game, albeit like the results weren't where we wanted them to be. It would be an improvement in what we have set out, in the statistics we have set out, in how we want our set piece to function, how we want our, attack in our 22 to go. It's all personal goals we have set out, so that's very clear in our squad as to what we want to achieve.
Nichola, we were asking Neil as well about the article last Thursday in the Telegraph. Was that a distraction leading up to the game against Italy?
I wouldn't have said it was a distraction, but it definitely didn't feel like nice for us as players to read on a Thursday morning. Like, it was squad announcement day, like, they're exciting days for girls, like, you're getting named to go out and represent your country, and we were building ourselves up for our captain's run on Friday, and like, to wake up and read that, like, it wasn't how you would want your prep to go for a week, to be honest. But for me, like, a lot of the stuff we've had over the last few weeks is, if girls want to read it, they can read it, but then you have to be able to just park it and focus on the job at hand. There's some girls that are making the choice of coming off social media because it's too much of a strain, but like, if it's something that you just have to park, it's outside noise, and we know what's going on inside our group, and we know what we're doing on and off the pitch, and we're trying our best, and that's all we can continue to do.
You've also spoke about the review you had yesterday looking over the game against Italy. The line out was an area of kind of concern on Saturday. As someone who was in the thick of it, what were you seeing when you were looking back at it that was going wrong on Saturday?
I think it was just slight inaccuracies, so like missed lifts sometimes, little overthrows, nothing that we can't fix. Like, we've recognised it, that there are areas that we definitely can fix for this weekend. Like, I think our scrum functioned extremely well. So you have to look at the positive sides of that as well. And whenever we got our maul going, it was a real weapon as well. So it's just about getting those 1%ers so that whenever we're coming into the line out, we're executing those lifts, we're executing those throws, and try and make that a bit more of a weapon again this week.
And Dorothy, how do you kind of evaluate the positives and negatives from it, where between the possession and territory was probably a game you should or could have won, and then the frustration of not actually doing it?
Oh yeah, but sure, that's what you do after every game. It didn't change just because it was that disappointing or whatever. It's, you look at what you did, how successful you are, why you weren't successful. As Nichola just said there, it comes down to the small detail a lot of the time, and things we have to fix and be very brutally honest with each other about, which is the hard part, but it's like having those hard conversations is the only way we grow. So that's what we're doing.
Is the analysis side, Nichola, like, does it have to be a very cold approach, kind of take any of the emotion or the frustration out of it and just looking at the clear pictures of what you could or should be doing?
Yeah, 100%. Like, we've been quite hard on ourselves because whenever we're getting inaccuracies in our system that we're trying to play, or inaccuracies at line out, like, they're missed opportunities for us, and we've had to really kind of say as a group, we're going to take this on the chin, and we have to start learning from these mistakes or inaccuracies that we're making in matches, and so that we can continually improve over the next 2 matches. But like we've said, as a group, we're going to be taking that feedback on, and we're going to be pushing to make sure that we eradicate those errors that we're making, because yeah, in a tournament like this you have to progressively get better throughout the tournament, and I think we're seeing it in some areas, not all areas, so we're under no illusion that we do have a lot of work to do for this weekend.
Just Liam mentioned she'd come on social media. It's a question to both of you. What's been your approach?
I'm still on it, social media, but I'm not really taking heed of anything, really, to be honest. Yeah. It's outside noise to me. Everyone has a right to an opinion on what's going on here and what's not going on here, but for us, we know as a group what we're putting into it, and how much effort we're trying to put in each week to make sure that we try and get a good result at the weekend. And it hasn't gone our way the first 3 weeks, but it's not going to stop us. We're an Irish national team. We're Irish people. You don't put your head down and ride out the rest of the tournament. We're going to go out fighting, and I think that's very much the mentality that we all have.
Yeah, same. Like, I'm just wondering when people will get bored of the same old narrative, to be honest. The same thing can only be said so many times, and we are playing for Ireland, and some of the stuff that's said is just frankly ridiculous. Like, so we don't pay heed to it, but like, it's getting boring.